Hi, here's a short little video for using Solidworks MBD. MBD stands for Model-Based Definition, and it allows you to add annotations to your model that will support the fabrication or manufacturing of your product. So the first thing we'll do is start Solidworks. You want to open the model to which you want to add MBD dimensions. Then you go to the gear or options at the top of the screen, do the down arrow, click on add-ins, because MBD, the full-blown version of MBD is an add-in. So you want to check that first column to make sure that it's in today's session. And then if you would like it to always be installed when you start up SolidWorks, put a check mark in the second column, and then click OK. The next thing we want to do is just set our drafting standard and any other standards or functionality that we want to have. And so we'll go to Document Properties and do our drafting standard of ANSI. We set our units to inches. We could do decimal places. You can do tolerance amounts. That I'll leave up to you to set. Then you click OK. Now the first thing we're going to do is we'll start manually entering in our dimensions. Then we'll play around with auto dimension schemes. Finally, we'll wrap everything up after a few minutes with 3D views. So let's first start by adding in our fillet information. Because if you look at this part, you can see that there's actually 8 fillets, and in this case they all happen to be the same size. So we click on Size Dimension, then we go and click on one of the fillets, move our mouse out to the side, and you can see it's provided me with that information about this fillet. It's a 0.3 radius fillet. There's 8 of them, and I've got that displayed right away. That's great. A cool feature built into MBD is the Show This Tolerance Status. If I select that, it turns green for the things that I've fully defined with dimensions, and it leaves gray the things that I haven't defined yet. So it's a good way for me to know what do I need to be working on next. So now let's do another dimension that might be the size of those 2 slots. So I'll go back to Size Dimension, click on one of the slots, place that data where I want it, say OK. I'll do it again for the other slot. Drag that one over to here. Say good. Alright, now I can check that as well. Show tolerance status. You'll see that I've partially defined the slots. I've said what the slot dimensions are, but what I haven't done is their placement information. So that's why it's yellow. In other words, this slot, I don't know the distance from here to here. I don't have that displayed yet. Okay? So the next thing I'll do is let's talk about the distance between this surface and the equivalent one underneath is. If we look at the part, you can see it's very similar. Symmetric. So that's a location dimension. So I click Location, click this face, go down, do Select Other, select the second face, and you can see I've got that dimension as well. So now if I check my Show Tolerance Status, you can start to see the process of this. Now here's a cool capability. Notice there's these 2 items, 2 faces I should say, that are parallel with each other. What if I want to reference both of those with respect to this side over here, the face here? I can do that as well. I go to Location, I select the first one, I go down to this pop-up little dialog box, and one of the options is Create a Compound Plane. Click that second face, click the green check mark. Well, I had already selected the rightmost one, so now I've got that dimension. And that's really a nice feature, because one of the things of MBD is that any of these dimensions, if you click on it, it highlights on the part where that measurement is being applied. So you can see, so now with that 2.35, it's showing it's the distance of either of these faces to this front face. Very nice capability. I think I'll drag this down here because it just looks better down there. So you can see we're going and we're slowly building up our design. Let's do one more dimension, maybe from this side to that side. So in other words, what's the length of the extrusion of this part? So that's another size dimension. That's one way to do this. Or we could do the two locations of the front and back one. Let's do that, actually. That's kind of fun. So I click that one, right click, select other, and there you see I've got it, that extrusion amount, which I think was 3 inches. Okay. And again, as I do this, it slowly builds up. The last thing to do, let's do the chamfer. Okay, so that's a manufacturing feature that I want. So is that a location, do you think, or is that a size? If you're not really sure, try one. If it doesn't work the way you want, delete it, try the other. Okay, I'm going to try size initially. Click on it. Out it comes. And there's the information about that. Might be a little hard for you to see on the screen, but it's telling me that it's the 45-degree angle chamfer with a certain distance of 1/10 of an inch with a tolerance of plus or minus 0.5 inches. And that's done in 4 different spots because of the 2 curves and the 2 linear parts of the slot. So there you go. And we could keep going to finish this. But another capability is this auto dimension scheme. Now, if you're not familiar with datums, you might not want to use this capability yet because it requires you, or it really works better if you define your datum planes. In my case, I'll just do 3 different datum planes. We won't try to explain those in this video, but I'll just select 3 different planes that are at 90 degrees to each other. I'll say go ahead and do all features. You could do selective features if you wanted, where you go and click, but we'll just do all for fun, and then click OK. And then what we can see happened is it finished adding us some additional dimensions, but then it's not as smart as a super AI system. So where I had already defined a dimension, such as this 1 inch, it tried to do the same thing, and now we have that red face that's on both the top and the bottom saying it's overdefined. So I need to go and probably delete mine, and then if we go back and show, now everything's all green. So it's good to use if you know what you're doing, but if you don't know what you're doing, you probably get into more trouble, and you're probably better off using the basic ones of location. I shouldn't call it basic, because basic has another meaning, but you should use angle dimensions, size dimensions, and location dimensions. And then if you feel adventurous, try using the auto dimension scheme. So now we've got a part. If we start rotating it, and you can see it's got all these different dimensions. All right. Now, and another capability that's built into SolidWorks is one of called dynamic annotations. If I do that, it only shows me dimensions on the plane that I'm looking at. So like the top view, front view, and then side view that hides all the other dimensions. So that's a cool capability if you want to use that. You don't have to. I'm going to turn it off right now because what I want to do is focus for the next minute or two on 3D views. So I have 3D views, and you can see it says capture view. So the first thing I want to do is capture my 3rd angle projection views of the front view, the top view and the right side view. So let's rotate our image. So let's turn off the rotate button. Go to our standard view orientation. Go to our front view. And maybe on this one, I'm going to tell it I want to look at it with hidden lines visible. Or you might say, no, I don't like that. I want it to be the shaded. Your call. When you're doing your designs, you can do it whatever way you want. You can also turn off that green that was there. Now, here's the fun part. I've got my dimensions. I just need to place them where they need to go. Don't even want that one, but I do want that fillet information. Notice I could even help someone understand what this is. I could go in and add, for example, that this is a fillet. Something like that. Adds it to the annotation. I could, again, don't need these extra ones that came in. But I could get my placement of everything exactly where I want it at the right level that I want. Okay, applying good solid modeling skill set. Let's pretend that's what I want. Then I just need to click Capture 3D View. Now I have that. I can name that even front, because that was my front view. Okay. Then I can rotate. Go to my top view. Zoom out. In this case, I don't have too many dimensions there. I have the one for and they're even debatable whether they're in the right planes. But I have the one for the chamfer, which is this one. And then I have the extrusion amount, which was the 3 inches. But maybe on this, so I just don't forget that that's the chamfer, because I probably want to fix that one later and move it to a different view. So I'll put, oops. Now I'm going to I just wanted to put in the word chamfer down there. I'm messing it up. So I'm having a harder time than I thought I would have on doing that. I'll get there eventually. It's not that big a deal. No, just yes, I want to continue. Just let me do what I want to do. Okay. All I was trying to do was type that in, and I got goofed up with it. But there it is. Okay. Now, what's left? We got to save that view and capture it. Okay. Now here's another thing. We could do the right side view, but I think you get the idea. What if I wanted to zoom in on that chamfer and just have a view of this portion, and I wanted that view to again be lined with hidden lines shown, and maybe I wanted it at a goofy angle for some reason? I can save that exact view and capture it. So now I've got those 3 different views at the bottom of the screen. I can toggle between those. So I've got that view to this view, and I would rename this one, of course, to what I want. And then ultimately I can go and publish these models as a PDF file, I could even do exploded views. I could save them or publish them to an ePart or an eDrawing, a step exchange file format. 3D PDM again is, PDF, not PDM, are all good examples of how I can publish this. And so then I can mail those, send those to other people. You see that, all these different options at the top. So that's a quick little overview, not the most elegant, but it does give you an overview about model-based definition. Hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you soon.